Howdy, my name is McKenna Gilmore and I'm an animal science major from Corpus Christi, Texas. While doing some research for this speech, I discovered a new word. It was a really strange word, never heard it before. Capiophobia. Have you heard that word before? I haven't. I don't know about you, but after doing some research, that word describes a person that has an irrational or unexplainable fear of the police. And to me, that just sounds so strange. Fearing somebody who's risking their life every day to protect you. But anyway, today I'm going to be describing how I used to have that fear and how I overcame it due to a lack of exposure. Well, I remember some of my first experiences with the police. They were kind of odd. You know, you hear your parents saying, having those negative connotations coming home from work and saying, oh, I got a ticket for speeding. But I vividly remember one of my vivid memories with the police was my sister getting in a lot of trouble in high school, and she was sent to a detention facility, and we had to go pick her up after school. I remember my mom coming and picking me up after school and threatening me, saying, you better not be like your sister or else you're going to end up in a place like this. And that kind of instilled in my head for the rest of my life. But yeah, I remember picking up my sister and her getting in the car with just this total look of fear. And that scared me. And that just led to me having a lack of exposure to the police, never interacting with them, and then that developing into being uncomfortable around police, into being afraid of the police. Well, I grew up in Corpus, which is fairly close to the border, and my parents didn't want to send me to public school. There were police that would always patrol public school, and my parents didn't like it. They didn't want me to be around bad kids, so they sent me to private school. After begging my mom for a while, I convinced her to send me to public school. After my first day, I was just exposed to a whole new world. Turns out the cops in the halls are really nice. Kids, public school, are very nice as well. After a couple weeks, I actually met my boyfriend that is still hanging around today, which is still pretty crazy. But after hanging around with my boyfriend, I figured out his dad was a DEA agent. Surprisingly, figures out that fear is still kind of instilled in me. I was always uncomfortable around him. I couldn't be myself around him. But after experiencing and hanging out with him a bit, I began to be more sympathetic towards him. I figured out that people in this line of work are there to protect you. They aren't looking to hurt people or arrest an innocent high schooler. No, they're not worried about that. After hearing their stories and hanging out with his dad's friends as well, I just gained so much more sympathy for them. And after having more exposure, I now feel so different. I'm so grateful that we have men like this, men and women, obviously, that are willing to risk their lives every day for our communities and our nation. So I want to say thank you to all of our police officers. And here's my outline.